Welcome to The Localist, a conversation with local makers and independent entrepreneurs. I'm your host, author of the Localist book and former small business owner, Carrie Rollwagen. So when you're trying to find a gym or a fitness studio or a wellness space, it can be pretty difficult to find the right fit. And that's why Kaitlyn Bentley started the Wellness Passport. So she also owns True40. She owns the brand, and she also owns a couple of actual True40 studios. And she created that passport as a way to encourage people to try different wellness spots around the city. So with the passport, you can actually try a bunch of different places without paying for a membership at each place, or without having to sign up for a trial and then kind of unsign up and get all of those emails involved with trying to leave a gym. You just get to try a bunch of different spaces. And then that's good for the businesses as well, because they're attracting new people who they may not have been able to advertise to otherwise. So the Wellness Passport launches really soon. It launches this fall, but you actually can start signing up later this month. And they also have a year-round wellness offering called The Well, and that offers kind of rolling discounts at different spots around the city year-round. And the Wellness Passport isn't just in Birmingham anymore either. They also have locations in Huntsville and in Tuscaloosa. So I think all of this is really amazing. But also, if you have done anything like this before, you know the logistics side is really overwhelming. So I talked some about that with Kaitlyn today. We also talk about how many different iterations of businesses that she has. So she is and was a franchisee at True40. She also owns True40, so she's also a franchisor. She also runs the Wellness Passport. And I just think her journey and how smart she's been about approaching her business is really interesting, and is really going to connect with a lot of us, I think, whether or not you have a fitness space, a wellness space, or any other kind of business. So I'm really excited about this interview, and I hope you enjoy it too. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So to start out with, can you tell us a little bit about how the Wellness Passport idea came to be?
Yes. Yeah. So back in, I think, started having conversations about it in 2018. As a fitness studio owner, looking at creative ways to get people into our studio. And the only program similar to this we had heard of is called ClassPass. Are you familiar with ClassPass at all?
A little bit, but tell us what it
is.
Yeah.
So basically, ClassPass users pay a monthly fee, and they get classes, a certain number of credits, and they can redeem those at studios around the city. Mm-hmm. ClassPass has kind of been slowly trying to get into the Birmingham market for a while, but the reason it hasn't quite yet is because as a business owner, it kind of de-incentivizes people from joining your studio as a member year-round, because why would they be a member at your studio if they can just be a ClassPass user and go? So wanted to creatively come up with a way to support studio owners, and so the Wellness Passport was born from that as a way. It's a very specific 9-week period in the fall, as a way to get more leads in, but still promote the businesses and hopefully capture some actual memberships coming out of that at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. So the listeners know, but my husband owns Om Jiu-Jitsu, so it's a fitness.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it is so different. Like, I used to own a coffee shop, and it was a real mind shift to me of like more of a service-based business.
Totally.
And that you really need those signups. And there is a reason that not our gyms, of course, but like a lot of gyms are like kind of predatory almost.
Yes.
Where they're like trapping you into something.
Yeah.
And that's not what we want to do.
No.
But also the reason people do that is because getting those memberships are so important.
Yes.
So that is a really smart way to do it. And I feel like you probably knew that, again, because you came from owning the business.
Yes. And also on the flip side of that, from the consumer side and the passport holder side, something I'm really passionate about is building community within my business, but also just wherever I'm living, and that is Birmingham.
Yeah.
So it's a really fun initiative for the passport holders because a lot of times trying a new studio or business can be intimidating. But during that 9-week period, you've got literally hundreds of other passport holders that are trying things for the first time too.
Yeah.
And you kind of can find people that can be a part of a community of things that you're also passionate about. So it's really fun to community build, not just among the businesses, but among the passport holders too.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And even I would think the kind of the shorter, the specific timeline almost even helps you as a user.
Yes.
Kind of the way that I know some people are January 1st people and some people aren't.
Yep.
I am a January 1st person. But like I like that feeling of like now is the time.
Now's the time. Mm-hmm.
And so having like if you can do it anytime, it's kind of like, well, I'll do it later.
Right. You can put it off. Yes.
Yeah. You're like, now is the time.
Yes.
I think that's almost a benefit in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. And it also, on the business side, we all know to expect passport holders to come in. So it helps us look at, okay, how are our processes? How are we talking to people who are coming into our businesses for the first time? So it helps operationally on the business side. And then it's so nice to get that influx of people. It's an opportunity for all of the businesses, the studios, the self-care, and the restaurants that participate to really give people a good experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anytime you're getting in front of a different audience, and especially I think digital advertising is getting harder and harder. All advertising is getting harder and harder. So having someone else help you out with that is huge.
Yeah.
Well, what happens on the side of, let's start with the gyms or the fitness, the wellness spaces.
Yes.
Well, I guess actually first talk about that because it's not just fitness.
Yes. So we break down our businesses into 3 categories: Sweat, self-care, and Savor. And so Sweat will be all of your fitness studios and gyms. Self-care is probably our broadest. Anything that could fall into the self-care bucket. So we've had nail salons, blow-dry bars, physical therapists, massage therapists, actual therapists. Yeah. We've had birth services, doula services. So basically anything that could be considered part of that holistic self-care. And then Savor is kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah.
It's anything food and beverage. We try to keep it on the healthier side of things. So healthy restaurants, coffee shops, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think as we're recording, and this will air later, but I think your current specials are with a Pilates place and Cala Coffee.
For the well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's Ignite Cycle and Cala Coffee.
Oh, sorry.
Yes,
Yeah.
for this month.
Yeah.
We had Pilates the month prior.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep it straight.
I was also thinking because I told our staff because I think they're both across. There's a Pilates place and Ignite Cycle across the street.
Yeah.
And then we love Cala Coffee. They've been
so
on the
good.
podcast.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this is perfect.
Perfect. Yeah. And it's been really cool for me to get to make all these connections with all these other business owners because everyone is so fabulous. And that is something I feel like is unique to Birmingham is our small business culture is so collaborative and supportive versus competitive. And it's really nice to see us all be able to kind of promote each other through this initiative and just build relationships because that's so important.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I found that to be true also, and it's almost like a mini like mastermind. Almost, like seeing how other people do it. I'm not even in coffee and books anymore, but whenever I'm in another coffee shop or bookstore, I'm always like, oh, they do this way, and that's how they solve this problem. So I think that's pretty cool. So if a business is wanting to become part of the Wellness Passport, what does that mean for them? Are they paying a fee? Are they just filling out a form?
Great question. So it's totally free to participate for businesses with the expectation that they will offer something to the passport holders during that 9-week period. So our gyms are usually offering like 3 to 6 complimentary classes, or they'll do like a private passport holder only class that's off of their schedule. The self-care and the Savor will discount their services a little bit, or they'll choose a few days in that 9-week period. It's really flexible because we want the businesses to be able to offer what is beneficial to them and what makes the most sense for them. And if there's days that are slow for them or products that aren't selling like they want, then maybe we look at those are the things we're discounting or those are the times we're discounting because we want it to be mutually beneficial. And so, yes, free for them to participate. And in return, they get the contact information for passport holders that they can use for their marketing channels afterwards. And to participate, they fill out a form on our website. It's just an intake form. It gives their elevator pitch. They upload a couple of photos that they want to be used on social media for promotion, and then they say what their offering is and how passport holders can redeem it.
Yeah.
And then a lot of businesses will choose to offer a post-passport discount just to kind of like keep the engagement going in November when it ends.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Do you find, what is the feedback that you get from like places that participate? Are they like, we got a lot of people didn't join, or is it kind of dependent on, do most people get a lot of people joining, or is it just kind of like depending on how much they put into the experience and how much?
That's exactly right. Yeah. It really is about how much businesses put into the experience. I have found that the businesses who engage the most or who are friendly and really give passport holders an experience when they come in, those are the businesses that are seeing the most like long-term results after the passport. And sometimes, businesses, it varies year by year. Sometimes they don't have the capacity to really do that full experience, and that's totally fine. It still gets people in the door during that time. And especially for the self-care and Savor, they're still making money. It's just, discounted off of their products. So I think, it's dependent.
Yeah.
That was a lot of word salad.
No, I totally. Like, I think that makes complete sense. And then, honestly, even being able to, like, have that contact info that you're feeding into your marketing is, I would think that would be worth it.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yes.
Just having people who are interested in fitness, because in wellness overall, because I'm even thinking it's hard to target ads. Like, our sister company is a digital marketing agency, and it's still difficult to say, are you hitting people who are even ever going to come?
Right. Right.
So you have kind of that selected group, and that helps even if you're paying for advertising or whatever to be even more targeted.
Yes. And that it's people who are passionate about something in your space, which is great.
Yeah. So tell me about the side of the person using the passport. Like, what happens? What is that like for them?
So, they will purchase a passport. It's $111, and that covers everything for the 9 weeks. We're actually
that's great.
It's less than a month membership at like one studio. Yes, it is super cost effective. And so they receive, this is actually the first year we're doing something a little different, which is exciting. Usually we launch sales in August. This year we're going to launch them mid-June. And our Birmingham Well members get access a week early, and then the general public will get access. And so we, in the past, have done a physical passport book, but a lot of times people will leave it in their car, or they'll lose it, or it'll be at home. So this year, just for ease, we're doing a digital passport, and then we're giving everyone a physical stamp book. So when they visit a business, the business will put a little passport stamp or sticker. And then depending on how many stamps they get, you're eligible for prizes at the end of the passport.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, and that does, it sounds like a very smart way to solve the problem, because I would have thought, it is fun to get the little book.
Yes.
And you don't want to lose that part of the experience.
Right.
But then, I would imagine a lot of people called and were just like,
yes.
Yeah.
Well, and the book has everyone's offering in it. So if you don't have it in front of you and you're trying to remember, like, oh, what did True40 offer again? So I think being able to just pull it up on your phone and have it whenever you have questions is great, because we have a lot of passport holders they do it every year, and they're super passionate about it, and they will literally have like a spreadsheet of a calendar of what classes they're going to, what days, and some people will try to get a stamp like daily the whole 9 weeks, which is so impressive.
Wow,
I don't know how they keep it so organized because we have like 80-something businesses participate every year. But it's really fun to see, and I'm hopeful that the digital passport will just make it even easier than it's been in the past.
Also, at that price point, I feel like you can still be a member of your like core gym and do something fun to kind of get.
Yeah, and we have a lot of people do that. They'll keep their memberships and just use this as kind of like a supplement to their normal routine. And we actually, for the businesses, they all get one free like business owner passport, and then staff at all the participating businesses get a discount too. So that incentivizes a little bit also.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you hear any stories from them like trying other things, or
the business owners?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this year we're trying something different again too, because usually we all get our passports and then we never have time to
Yeah,
go
of course.
try everything because we have so many new people in our businesses
Also,
during
you're
that
running
time.
multiple businesses.
Yes. So this year we're talking about actually, and we're going to let businesses either opt in or opt out, but we're going to start business owner and staff access like a few weeks before the general passport season starts.
that's cool.
So that we can have a chance to like enjoy the benefits of the passport, visit each other's businesses, and honestly that informs everyone about what everyone offers a little bit better. So I feel like it just benefits everybody as a whole. So we're going to try that this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So with the benefits, is it, or with the businesses, is one of the requirements, I guess, that they don't have to sign up for a trial, that they can just bring the passport, or does that differ per business? Does that make sense?
Mostly they can just bring the passport in. There's a couple gyms who, especially like in the CrossFit space, who need like that intro class before people can really. Yes. Yeah. So we've had a few who stipulate that in the past, but in general, it's just you bring your passport in.
Yeah. Well, that's really fun. So what feedback do you get from people who use it?
Who use the passport? Yeah. It's been really cool to see what an impact it's had on people because a lot of people have found their like thing that they love. And I hear a lot that people have been super intimidated to try group fitness, but the barrier to entry is lower when you have a lot of other people trying too. So I have had people try things they would never normally try, and then they end up, being a member at that studio for years to come. And it's fun to see too a lot of the connections that are made. So a lot of passport holders will become friends and have super close relationships, and they'll be like gym buddies, which is so cool. So I think it's just nice for people to be able to feel like they're doing something to support local businesses while they're also getting something themselves and they're getting an experience out of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, usually feedback is pretty positive, which is good. Yeah.
And so when did you decide to do the well in addition, or has that been the whole time?
It has not been the whole time. And actually, the woman who did our rebrand for me, I think it was in 2020 is when we did this, all the years blend together. She actually suggested it to me as kind of a monthly subscription service. And so we rolled it out, and it's also a way to keep people engaged with the passport year round, because otherwise, people are really just engaged September through November.
Right.
And so we charge $8 a month, which is like a coffee.
Right, exactly. I saw the first offering, I think, and I was like, oh, cool. And then I was digging in, and I saw the price. I was like, oh, my gosh, why would you not
it's so cheap. Yeah, so we always highlight just 2 businesses. And so the pitch to the businesses is you get more eyes on you than just during the passport when you're one of many. And so we always do a studio, and then we choose either a self-care or a Savor to go along with that studio each month.
Yeah.
And we have significantly less well members than passport holders. I think right now we're at about 70 well members, so it's like a hyper engaged group, which is great on the business side.
Yeah.
And the well members, True40 was just the well member last month. And it was so cool to see most all the well members will come in and redeem the offerings because they're super invested.
Yeah. That's really awesome. So I'll probably before I move on, because I definitely want to talk about True40 also. But what are some things because this sounds so awesome, and then when I think about running it, I'm like, the logistics of this is so much.
Yes.
So like, what are some kind of trial and error things?
Yes. Yes, it's a lot. So
I like so much.
Yeah. I had a co-founder back in 2018 when we first started it, and then she moved away, so she kind of stepped out of it in 2020. But having an extra person was great. It started out as a side hustle. Like the first year we did it, now we have 80 plus businesses participate. The first year we did it was only studios. I think we had 20. We sold a lot fewer passports, so it was a lot more manageable. And then every year has been kind of a learning experience of how can we make this experience better for passport holders and businesses. And we've incorporated like business Instagram takeovers and all kinds of marketing things, weekly emails, featured passport holders, all these things. So it's continued to grow, and it went from being a side hustle to like an actual business in addition to True40. And so as things have gotten busier on the True40 side of things, I had kids. I have an intern who's now kind of graduated into, she's pretty much basically on my team, but she has automated a lot of things for me. So it's just made everything a lot more efficient. Like businesses submitting the form directly into the website instead of me and them literally emailing back and forth to get their offerings. Also, when they input their things in the website now, it goes automatically onto a what you get page on the website where we were manually doing that before. So automation has helped so much. I think this is going to be a big year to see how it does expanding to Huntsville and Tuscaloosa since I'm not physically there. The list for both of those markets is smaller participatory-wise than Birmingham, I think, because it's business's first time. They're just hearing about it.
Yeah.
It's going to take a couple years to expand. But I think this will be a big learning year of how to execute well in more than just one market.
Yeah. So do you have a staff for Wellness Passport that's separate from True40, or is it the same staff?
Separate from True40, and just Emma is my intern turned team member. It's literally just me and her for the passport. So
that's a lot.
It's
so
a lot.
in the new cities, how did you even start getting in touch? Was it just cold emailing?
So fortunately, for Tuscaloosa, I have a True40 franchise there, so that was an easy in. Okay. We researched businesses, asked her for some business connections. For Huntsville, there are a lot of businesses in Huntsville that are also here, especially in terms of like restaurants.
Yeah.
So it was easy to kind of start here with the connections and go there. We'll probably try to do Auburn next year because that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of just cold emails and DMs.
Yeah.
And sometimes calling, which we all hate.
How do you distribute the passports? The physical ones, are they mailed or do they pick them up somewhere?
So we have a designated pickup studio in Birmingham. True40's always done it because it makes sense. This year, since the passport's digital, people will just be picking up their stamp book. So I'm actually working on identifying who those studios will be in Tuscaloosa and Huntsville right now.
Yeah. Well, do you when you are doing your personal networking, is it mostly just organic in that I think you're right in Birmingham, it is like small business owners are, I think, pretty supportive of each other?
Yeah.
Or is it that you're like, no, I have a strategy, I go to events, I do LinkedIn? Like,
honestly, with how crazy life has been, should I have a strategy? Yes. Do I have a strategy? No.
Well,
it's just been organic.
It's working anyway.
Yeah.
You don't have to do the things if it's already working.
Well, and I keep like a running list. I have a note in my app, and like all year I'm looking if I see a new business pop up, I'll be like, oh, that would be good for the passport, and I'll add it to my note for outreach. But that's really as extensive as it gets.
Well, I mean, but I think that is great, and it is, I think, a huge benefit of Birmingham. I feel like the business side and creatively, both of those communities, it seems like mostly people are happy to help.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, okay, let's sort of back up to True40.
Yes.
So when I was first researching, I didn't even realize. Like, I read that you owned a True40 franchise, and I just thought it was like, oh, somebody else did that. But that's not right. It's your thing, right?
It's kind of, it's an interesting story.
Okay.
So that was correct. Okay, so I started my career in corporate America, in corporate public relations, and learned a lot, but always knew I wanted to own my own business. Back when I was looking for something to do in 2016, I didn't feel at that time like I've always loved group fitness, but I didn't feel at that time like I had the science background. I had like business and PR degree to create a workout and feel confident that it was safe, which is so important. So started looking at franchising a fitness concept. I found True40. At that time, there was only the first location in Auburn, and one in Cahaba Heights was about to open. And so I left my corporate job to manage Cahaba Heights as it opened for a year before I could start looking for my own space as a franchisee. So I opened the downtown location as the first franchisee in 2018. And then in 2020, the founder just sold the company to like a group of guys who, it was COVID. And so I kind of like went with them. But over the next couple of years, I was put in a position to take on the role. Like, I was training all of the instructors, I was designing all of the retail, and I was running a lot of the operational side of the business, and I was supporting the managers of the corporate-owned locations. And so I was kind of like, why am I a franchisee?
Right,
I want to do something more. So I spoke with the owner at that time. We had a conversation like over a couple of years, and when he was finally ready to get out, he offered the company to me first. So I acquired it at the end of New Year's Eve 2022.
Yeah.
And so the last couple of years has been really cool, going from being a franchisee to a franchisor. Like, never thought I would acquire a company. Crazy.
Yeah.
And so the Auburn and Tuscaloosa, the current corporate studios, I converted those to franchisees because I think it's important for such a small brand like us, especially the owner needs to be like in the market. And so I converted leadership at those studios to owners, and then spent 2023 and last year, really, we did a rebrand to make our brand a little more fresh, and then just getting our processes and procedures in place before we started to scale the franchise. And then we're in kind of a crazy growth period right now. I had a Trustful franchisee open last week, which is exciting. We've signed one in Gardendale that should open late summer, early fall, and then we're in talks for 2 other markets, one out of state right now. So we're growing, which is awesome. And then I opened my second corporate-owned in Homewood last August. So a lot of moving parts at the same time.
Yeah.
And the Wellness Passport on top of that. But it's been a really cool phase of my career to just, it's like I'm still with the same 2 companies, but the trajectory of both of the businesses have changed so much. And it's so fun to take the role that I'm in now and see how we can continue to grow.
Yeah. Well, and those are massive changes anyway. Like going from being a franchisee to, like you said, a franchisor, but then also converting some of those studios to franchises. Those are all difficult in like the real world, but also the paperwork and all the taxes.
I have a really good legal and finance team that I pay way too much money. But they help me a lot.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like that would be, I mean, it's probably a little bit of a nightmare anyway, but like without those teams, those are huge shifts, I feel like. And then also starting another business. When you're sitting there, you're like, what am I doing?
Yes. It's like when I normally I'm just operating, and then when I have a chance to sit down and like actually say all of this out loud, I'm like, oh wow, like, a lot has happened. But it's exciting, and I think we're at this pivotal point right now for both True40 and the Wellness Passport. And so it's also been cool, like a common thread between the 2 businesses is that we're very community driven, and we hear a lot at True40 people say like, I came for the workout, I stayed for the community. And so that's something we really inspire with the Wellness Passport as well. So it's been cool to like have that common thread and build community in both businesses.
Yeah. I mean, I do feel like, and I have, I guess, a different role in that I don't own, but I'm connected to.
Yeah, you see.
But it is so, like, you really do see that community, and especially in, we always talk about like our culture and our world and how like how fragmented it's been and how we live in our phones. And when people talk about third spaces, it is really cool to see how much a fitness studio can be like a real third space.
Like an actual haven, for people.
Because obviously you can work out at home, but like you can't do that kind of class without making some kind of connection.
Right.
And it is really cool to see.
Yeah.
And it feels like you've taken a lot of the wisdom of the corporate world and also applied it.
Yes.
So do you think that is partly why you're approaching this businesses differently than the average person who's starting it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's funny. I talk about this a lot. My degrees, like I'm not doing anything directly like business admin or PR, but I use those skills so much in what I do. And I do think it helped me a lot because as a small business owner, you do have to be a lot more business-minded and the things behind the scenes that are separate from the products and services you offer than you realize. And you're like, oh, wait, I'm HR and I'm creating the operations and the processes and I'm doing payroll and I'm recruiting and I'm doing reporting and licenses and taxes and all. You don't think about that when you first get into business. And I think having my background has lent itself really well, which is cool. I also think having had the experience as a franchisee before being a franchisor and really feeling like, what do I need as a franchisee? What do I like? What would I do differently? Has really lent itself well to what I can give my franchisees now.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. So when you did transition from more of a corporate job, were you seeing like, okay, this will be a path to just a different kind of business, or were you wanting like a fresh start where, is it?
Yeah, I started after I graduated from Auburn, I lived in Atlanta until I met my husband, and I worked for like a really fast-paced, fun PR agency called Edelman, and I learned so much. I loved all my coworkers. I loved my job, but agency life in a lot of industries, it's just like you eventually just burn out.
Yeah.
You're so tired. And so when I met my husband, I moved here and I started working at Southern Company doing corporate PR, and I learned a lot too. Totally different culture and environment, not as fast-paced, but still very demanding, and I really did enjoy it, but I just knew like I wanted something for my own. And so I was just kind of trying to wait for the right opportunity and the right time. And it eventually happened. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was the fitness side of it, it was because you'd always enjoyed it?
Mm-hmm. I had always loved group fitness. I'd always loved the community from it. I've always been an attendee in group fitness classes. And so I needed to find the right workout that I felt like I wanted to invest and participate in, which I did. But yeah.
Well, maybe talk a little bit about what is special about True40.
Yes. Yeah. So I always joke with my staff, like our elevator pitch is so hard because we have a lot of different components in our workout. So overall, we're a high intensity but low impact workout. So we are safe for any fitness level, body type, age. We have a lot of pre and postnatal women who come in. We have a lot of people that are returning from an injury because we offer modifications and challenges for everything, so you can really scale your workout based on what you need. So our components of class, we always start with some low impact cardio, and then we incorporate the bar methodology for like legs and glutes, and then we have a strength training section in the middle. We use TRX straps, which makes us a little bit unique. It's resistance straps that hang off the wall, and it's all body weight driven. You can do a ton of different exercises. We use weights as well, and then we have a Pilates inspired core work at the end and a yoga inspired cool down. So a lot of core strength. You kind of get everything all in one. You get really intense, and then you feel really like zen and calm after class. So
so how was that workout developed? I mean, I know that wasn't by you, but
so the founder and our master trainer, who is our master trainer now, she was my first hire I brought back, created it together, and they both studied kinesiology in school, so they had the scientific background. I think they took I think we all really like the aspects of a bar workout, but sometimes you're missing some of the intensity that you can get at higher intensity gyms. So we wanted something that was kind of like a one-stop shop. Like you don't have to do this and something else. You can do one workout, you can get your cardio in, but you're not overdoing it. You can get your strength in, and you're stabilizing your joints. We do a lot of like small intentional movements that help stabilize joints and help with flexibility and strength.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what does the name mean? Like what is 40?
Yes, True40. People ask that all the time. It's a good question. So True is, our kind of tagline is move true, be you. And basically we want everyone to move true to their own bodies. We want everyone to take what they need, and that's something us instructors talk about a lot during class. Like, just because I'm giving you a challenge doesn't mean you have to take it. Like, you may have slept horribly last night and today's a modifying day, but like listen to where you connect best with the exercise that we're doing, and that's where we want you. So we want people to feel empowered, and we want people to not walk in feeling like, oh, I'm not doing what my neighbor's doing, or maybe my body doesn't look like hers. We want everyone to just feel true to themselves. So that's the True.
Yeah.
And then the 40 stems from, 40 is like a period of test and trial and then like new beginnings. It's just like, if you look into the numbers of it all, it's like a significant number. So that's where it came from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So when you're talking about bringing back other hires, so you brought back like a master
trainer.
Okay.
And then I have a COO. She was my studio manager, and now she's kind of like the point of contact for all the franchisees, and then she helps me with quality control for both of my corporate locations. And then we have a couple of assistant master trainers, and then a creative director in Denver too.
Yeah. So were those, when you brought people back, was that kind of because you were a franchisee and you were like, I liked what they brought to the table? Or
Absolutely. Yes. Our master trainer, she's so knowledgeable. She's so good with our instructors at breaking down things in an easy to understand way. She takes really good care of them, and she and I have just maintained always a really positive relationship. And so she was the first person that I wanted to bring back. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you train instructors? Because in jiu-jitsu, it's very different. You kind of like train and become qualified in a different way.
Yes.
So yeah, how do you do it with something that is unique?
Yeah. So something we look for with all of our instructors is they have to be able to move to the beat because our classes are beat driven musically. We also look for people in class.
I'm out, actually.
That's okay. We look for people who have good form, and then people, they don't have to have prior instructor experience, but we want people who can be a leader, like engaging with people, and ideally someone that has had an impact made on them from True40 already, because those are our best advocates. So training, they will audition where they practice a portion of our class and do it for the leadership team at the studio. And then if they're hired, we have a 6-week pre-training where they just learn so much about our method, the specific program that they're going to learn. They spend those 6 weeks doing that, and then they have an in-person training weekend. We actually have one this weekend for our Gardendale franchisee. So it's just a super intensive, like 48 hours. And then after that, we have a post-training. They do a couple friends and family classes. They'll team teach with some of our current instructors, and then teach a free community class, and then we'll give the final sign-off of your ready. So it takes, I would say, probably about 10 weeks is the process. Yeah.
But I mean, that's very like structured.
Yes. Yeah. It's taken us, trial and error to get there, but we feel good about our process now.
Yeah. Do you have that same kind of thing when you have franchisees? Like how are kind of they trained to say?
Yes. So the franchisees, they have an instructor training just like that, but they also get a lot of owner and operations training with me and my COO, and we kind of do that in phases during their build-out time to make sure that they understand, like, how do you find the right candidate? How do you hire? What do you do in this situation? How does our software work? Client troubleshooting, all the things. It's a lot of information, but and that in itself was a beast, like making our operations manual and understanding exactly how we do every little thing so that we can pass that to the franchisees.
So is that something that you did, or were you a part of it when you were with the company before? Or
So I was part of it with the company before to kind of create it, and then when I acquired the brand, I pretty much rebuilt it.
Yeah.
And then it's a constantly evolving
document.
It's really important to me that our franchisees have autonomy and they don't feel like we're not a McDonald's where it's like you have to look this way, you have to do exactly this. I want them to have autonomy, but I want them to feel supported, and so that's kind of how we try to structure everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially as a small business owner, so many small business owners have to just struggle through.
Yes.
You figure it out because you did it wrong. So I think having that, the more you can get like training, especially that's geared specifically toward what you're doing, is helpful. It doesn't sound like you're like, yes, we're exactly this, do exactly this, but just knowing like, what am I doing for taxes? How do I advertise?
Having 2 of my own studios has been such a help in that, because I have learned so much through trial and error, and so I can help, my new franchisees do better than I did from the start,
So are there times that do you get together with the franchisees? Do they know each other?
So we have a Google chat that we're all talking on daily. We have weekly touch points over email. We have a monthly call. We all get on video call. And then one of my absolute favorite things is to travel to go see the franchisees and help them problem solve or teach a class for them. I was in Trustful last week, Tuscaloosa the week prior, Auburn in February. So it's just fun to get FaceTime with them, and then we make sure the communication stays open between them all so that they can use each other's resources too. Yeah.
Well, how did you figure that out? Did you look at what other franchises do? Was it just experimenting?
And it's been interesting to see as we've done research. A lot of franchises, it's not super open about what their processes and procedures are, so it's kind of hard to dig up that information. So I've always known I want, again, coming back to that community piece, I want community among my franchisees too. So knowing that's the goal and then kind of backing up from there and putting some things in place. We also last year, I'm making it a goal of every other year probably, but we did an overnight at Ross Bridge last year and all got together, and that was really good time together. We worked, but we got to spend time together too. So I think those times are important as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like that is really awesome, and that's its own. I feel like it's like a nesting doll of businesses in a way.
Yes,
like,
yeah.
Because even like having franchises is a business.
Yes.
And then you own the actual franchises.
Yes.
Those are business. So I feel like this is so interesting to see how like and also planned and organized. It seems like they are, which probably doesn't feel like that. And
it doesn't sometimes. Yeah. I'm glad you think so.
Yeah. But was that kind of like a process, or is that something that you're naturally organized and you apply it to that? Is it something that you more learned?
I am naturally organized. I think I have a good business mind from my prior experience. I think it's a few things. I think me having been a franchisee before and knowing what I wanted in terms of organization, I have a really amazing team, and they help so much at keeping things on track. So I think that's a huge part of it too. And really having my own 2 studios too, because I'm not above anything. I'm like literally in the trenches with them. I'm doing the same things they're doing. I have the same focuses and pain points that they have. So I think like having that lived experience is helpful too.
Yeah. Well, how do you approach PR and like social media, marketing, all of those things I assume you have similarities between the businesses.
Yes. So our creative director in Denver, she kind of handholds our franchisees for the first 3 months just to help them plan the grid so that everyone's social media is looking cohesive and brand friendly, and then they kind of can run from themselves from there.
Yeah.
She oversees like any corporate photo shoots that are happening, or any of the franchisees when they do their own photo or video shoot. She's overseeing just to make sure everything stays cohesive, which is nice. In terms of marketing, social media is a huge draw for us. We do email marketing, of course. And then something that's been really successful for us here, we do a lot of pop-up classes out in the community. Okay. Again, the community aspect. Yeah. But we have one at Maya this Saturday, but the time doesn't matter.
They should follow you on social media to find out when the next one is.
That's right. Yeah. But we usually do like a couple each month, and that's been really fun. Sometimes we'll collaborate with another fitness studio in town. We have one with Gauntlet coming up in June. Sometimes we'll just do it ourselves, and that's a really good way to get in front of new people.
So is that, I mean, that's not going to be the whole class because you don't probably have the
no equipment. So we have a pop-up version of class that we do. It's the same sections of class, but we kind of tweak the exercises based on the lack of equipment. And then we encourage people to come into the studio to get the full experience.
Yeah. So do you have people who are planning to, like, when you go to My Well, are they saying, like, I'm going to mark my calendar and come and work out close? Yeah. Or are there also going to be people like, I'm just drinking and I'm going to, you know? Like...
So this particular one, we're doing the class like 30 minutes before they open. Okay. But then, some people will come to pop-ups and they'll just kind of sit off to the side and chill and then hang out after. Yeah. Like some people just come for the hangout, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Some people, we do have some male clients. We're mostly female-based, and so we always have, the guy or two that comes and suffers through the workout and may leave halfway through. Yeah. But, so yeah, it's a mix of both.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How do you keep like a curated, I feel like with True40, you have the corporate side and you have a creative director, and so you kind of like can keep the curated feed and the brand going. But with Wellness Passport, you're working with a lot of different brands.
Yes.
How do you, and also it feels like when I'm just following it that the offerings are curated. But I don't know if that's just self-selecting, like people who fit the brand are the people who are applying, or
so I'll offer suggestions a lot to businesses based on what's worked in the past. So I think that's where some of the cohesiveness comes from. Social media can be tough because our brand is really strong, but like we're about to start business takeovers. And so every day for the whole summer, businesses in Birmingham, Huntsville, Tuscaloosa are going to be logging onto the Instagram every day and posting whatever photo they want. So like,
sounds terrifying.
It's So there's just not going to be cohesiveness in how pretty the overall brand is for those months. But I have found the passport holder audience is super engaged, and I think it's interesting because it feels different than True40. They care less about like the cohesive look. They like that it's a bunch of different businesses because it's about the experience. So it's worked so far.
That makes sense. And then as far as the businesses that are a part of it, you aren't really weeding out businesses. Is that correct? Or are they
I thought about it a couple years ago. Usually a business, if they approach me, we can figure out a way to make them wellness driven, because businesses understand, like, this is about wellness. I haven't ever had any business reach out that's like a complete non-fit.
Yeah.
And we've been creative. Like last year was the first year we've had anyone like a doula offering, but I was like, that is wellness, so we can offer it, you know? We also had like a business coach participate last year, which was a new offering for us, but that helps with your mental wellness. So we can be creative about it.
That makes sense. Well, I mean, this is, I feel like this is awesome. There are so many things that you can hit on. I know we've said that before, but so if people are interested, I guess let's do True40 and then the Wellness Passport.
Perfect. That's
they're interested in True40. They want to get involved. How do they do that?
So across all locations, we do a first class for $10 and a month unlimited for $99, and you can do both of those offers. So a great entry point is just come into class for $10. All you do is you go to our website, true40studio.com. You make an account there, and you can choose whatever home studio that you're going to be going to. Something to note that because I own both downtown and Homewood, if you buy classes at one, they do apply to the other location, which is great. And then, you make an account, you book your class. You can always, we're very responsive to our DMs, so if you run into any issues, find us on Instagram and we will reply.
What do you wear? Just like what you'd wear to yoga?
Whatever you feel comfortable moving in. So we wear sticky socks in class. We have like soft absorbent floors that don't like shoes. They're cork. So we do sticky socks so everyone's feet stays clean. But other than that, I mean, we have people wear your normal leggings and top. We have people wear shorts. Sometimes people wear an exercise dress. It's whatever you feel comfortable in.
Awesome. Cool. And so then Wellness Passport. By the time this runs, I think that it'll almost be time to sign up for the passport. So tell people how to do that.
Yeah. So our website, it's the-wellnesspassport.com, and you can pick your city from there. You'll be able to buy directly on the website. It'll be like a buy, very obvious button at the top. And you purchase it. You'll get immediate access to the digital passport, and then it'll give you instructions on how to pick up and where when your stamp booklet. And $111. It will be exactly middle of June for Well members, and then the following week it'll open to the general public, and it'll be on sale until they sell out. We cap it at $500.
Okay. And then once it starts, are they still for sale if they haven't sold out?
They have sold out every year before we started. So, and honestly, because we need to get the businesses the information from the passport holders, we usually stop before. That makes sense. Because everybody needs to have their ducks in a row. And some of the businesses are literally manually inputting all of their info into the system. And so we're like, we're not going to add any more to your plate. So by the time passport starts, there will be none more available.
Well, what's the cutoff for a business if they want to be considered or they want to?
So we're trying to round that out right now. It's been more strict in the past with the printed passport because we've had to send the passport to print. Because it's digital now, I'll probably accept applications through the summer. So it's not too late if you're listening.
And if they want to be considered for the Well, is that something they apply for differently, or are you just looking at the passport members and kind of choosing, like curating who's part of the Well?
I have curated in the past, but last year, and I'll do this again this year, I've just sent an email at the end of the passport with a link and that says if you're interested in signing up, pick a month and I'll reach out to you at that time. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Thank you so much for
Thank you for having
on.
me.
This is fun. Thanks.
Yeah.
The Localist podcast is written and produced by me, Carrie Rollwagen. We record right here at the Infomedia Studios. So if you're interested in doing your own podcast and just coming in and having me interview you, and we can cut that into reels and social media clips for your business or any other photo, video, or website related thing, we would love to help. So head to infomedia.com and fill out that contact form to get the conversation started. In the meantime, you can find show notes for everything we talked about today at carrierollwagen.com, and you can find me on social media at crollwagen. Our showrunner is Taylor Davis, Jen Tucker is our outreach manager, and Elena Harmond is our promotions manager. So until next time, here's to thinking global by acting local and putting small shops before big bucks.